Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Let's see. I think you can hear me just fine. Get rid of some of these unnecessary screens so we don't have anything slow us down. Okay. Okay, and we're good. Fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. Hello to Connie Bowman, Angela M, Mary H, and who else is here? Novi D, Ingrid Sowers, Puzzle Dot, uh, Christopher. What is that? Is that Pothmont? Okay. And who else is here? Sandra. Hey, Sandra. Okay. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, fake versus real. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm going to talk about that again. Yes. Don't trip. We have to. It's getting to that point. As a matter of fact, it is beyond that point. And of course, father versus son is heating up. Father versus son. Um, well, anyway, we'll talk about it. Let's get on with it. Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll probably say it again tomorrow or later today. But happy Valentine's Day. I hope that your Valentine's Day is everything that you want it to be or not want it to be. Um, don't feel pressured by the idea of, oh, I didn't get any flowers or candy, although it is nice. It is nice, but, you know, que sera, whatever will be, will be. Um, if they love you, let them go. And if they're meant for you, they'll come back. You know, all those cliches, stuff that we say to try to comfort us while we're, you know, suffering with agony on the inside because it's not what we wanted it to be. Because it's not like a Hollywood movie, right? Okay. So, again, happy Valentine's Day. Flowers, candies, candles, um, a new car, whatever this holiday brings you. So, big tech on trial. Why the lost screen memorial came to Los Angeles. You guys, I think it was Anne from Duchess of Success who said that it would be really nice if they allowed the screens to be a traveling memorial. And let's hope that is the case. So, this is at least the second one we know of. I believe it's the second one. They had one in New York, and now this one is in Los Angeles. It is very temporary. It is made from television monitors which resembles cell phones. Now, the guy that's speaking here, I do believe I recognize him. Oh, maybe not. I thought he was one of the parents, but I'm not sure. But those are the families standing behind him, and he himself may be one of the parents. But this was a um, very moving experience for everyone involved. So it says here that This week, the memorial stands in Los Angeles down the street from the courthouse where big tech is on trial. Well, hopefully that means that some of those people from the big tech firms could not avoid seeing those screens and the families gathered around them. As well as the public who may have been curious about it. The Lost Screen Memorial, designed by Archwell and paid to tribute to the children lost to social media, arrived in Southern California as bereaved families and survivors of online harm gathered for ongoing lawsuits against major social media companies. Some parents slept overnight in the rain to secure a place in the courtroom. Their determination speaks to the urgency of what's at stake. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. That really hit me. That really hit me. That some of the parents slept outside. Whew. Okay. Wow. Okay. Pardon me. That some of the parents slept outside in the rain to secure a place in the courtroom. Their determination speaks to the urgency of what's at stake. This week, Archwell Philanthropies also hosted many of these parent campaigners. The message was clear. Their bravery demands action. These families have shown up. They've spoken truth. Now the platforms must answer. Behind every screen in the memorial is a child who should be here. Through our work with these families over the years, bereaved parents and survivors are transforming grief and trauma into reform, pushing for transparency and meaningful change for us all. We were honored to have social psychologist Jonathan Haidt meet with everyone at the memorial. His research underscores what these families know ultimately, that the current design of social media is dangerous for children and that accountability is long overdue. We stand with these parents. They are fighting not just for their own children, but for parents and families worldwide, those who have faced similar tragedies, and the millions fearful of who or what their children might encounter. We honor their children. We stand with them in the calling for transparency, reform, and a digital world that protects children instead of exploiting them. Oh my goodness. Oh, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my goodness. That really hit me like a ton of bricks. With everything else that these parents have been through, the idea that they should have to stay out overnight in the rain for fear that they will be excluded from the courtroom. It's horrible. Um, and these are some of the parents. These are the profile pictures or the screensavers that the children would have used on their phones. And so what they've done is they obviously taken television monitors and found a way to create very large representations of cell phones, just as the children would have used them. From what I'm to understand, there was a warning to the parents that there should be no displays of emotion or emotional outburst in court. And by nighttime, that must have been a very dramatic sight. I hope that they will allow for this exhibit to travel around. And it makes me feel very proud that the Archwell Philanthropies are the ones responsible for creating them. Okay. Well, so that's what's happening. If you want to share this with someone, you can go to the Archwell Philanthropies. As a matter of fact, I will give you the link in case you want to share it with someone. And I'll pin that at the top of the chat, and that way you'll know where to have access to it. And now you can understand why Prince Harry was so emotional speaking to these parents. Madison, I'm very sorry to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Unfortunately, it is something that we're forced to consider because you don't know what type of influence is on the other side of these conversations or these chat rooms or whatever people are sharing on these devices. You just don't know what the other side of the conversation is like. You don't know what type of person there is lurking on the other side. So, but that's why it's important to keep a line of communication open with young people, give them a chance to express themselves and such, because yeah, you just never know. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. And I know a lot of people may feel as though they're spying on their young person, or that they are somehow digging too deep, or you may find out something that you did not want to know. But there could be a disaster on the other side of it if you don't ask questions. So, and it doesn't mean that you'll get the truth, but after you hear whatever is said, then the rest is guts and instincts and a lot of prayer. So, again, the link is at the top of the chat. If you would like to share this with someone, or if you just want to review those photos and such again, it is available there. So, on to where are we going next here? Oh, okay. Yes, the Halo Trust. Prince Harry stopped by the Halo Trust, virtually, of course. But yes, our Prince Harry stopped by the Halo Trust just to check in with everyone, which I tell you, Prince Harry has been really active with philanthropy lately and humanitarian stuff. Of course, with the Sussexes, it is all part of their partnership, and it seems as though they have a certain schedule that they have adapted for their family, and so far it seems like it's working out pretty well for them. I can still recall when Meghan said that there was some big things coming up in 2024 and she wished she could talk about it, but she just can't. And as we found out, it involved both Nigeria and Colombia. So it was definitely worth waiting for. All right. Okay, so the Halo Trust is coming up. Let's do that. Oh, you know what? I got to switch this, don't I? All right, so let me give you a little background here. According to, oh, wait, that's not good. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, according to People magazine, Prince Harry thanked Halo Trust workers in Ukraine for their bravery in an emotional video call shared by the charity on the 6th of February. February, wow, that's interesting. The 6th of February. On the 6th of February, that's better. On the 6th of February, Halo Trust shared a clip to YouTube of the Duke of Sussex's call to Alicia and Marina, who are working with the landmine clearing charity on the ground in Ukraine. Prince Harry supports Halo Trust like his late mother, Princess Diana, who drew global attention to the call for an international landmine ban when she walked through an active minefield in Angola in 1997. And anyway, let me see if I can share that video with you. Wow, it'd be so cool if I had like a producer, like like some of those other content creators. If I just had like a producer or something like that, that would be so cool. But what could I say? We're on a budget.
Yeah. How have the last couple of weeks been?
So like life has turned upside down for the last more than like 2 weeks, and sometimes it seems to me that it's just a like nightmare, and I'm going to wake up soon.
And you're saving lives every single day. I mean, I know you're part of Halo, so that's exactly what you signed up to do. I know that you're going to continue doing the work that is so desperately needed for Halo, for your families and for your country. How can we help? How can people help? What is the best way for people to help? Because there are so many people watching on feeling completely helpless.
Spreading the safety messages will help. The more people see them, the more people stay safe. You can donate to help our organization as well. That's also absolutely possible.
Thank you for being so brave and being so amazing, and well done.
Yeah, the least we can do. Thank you.
Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep saving lives.
All right. So, God, that must be amazing to, you always hear people say, I cannot believe that this person even knows who I am, or that it's so nice that they've taken some time out of their day to connect with us. And I think what's really special about the Sussexes is that that unlike most of the royals, Harry and Meghan are actually going to ask you, what is it you need? What do you need? Like, remember when they went to that school in New York that time, and I think they gave them like washer machine. Oh yeah, I think it was a washing machine and dryer because that was something that some of the kids were lacking, and at home, that is. And you know that sometimes kids have a rough time at school if their clothes are not fresh, or perhaps they may have needed it for uniforms or maybe some other things. But yeah, I think it was actually for the students, but I could be wrong. It could have just been for the school. And then there were some other things they provided, but you'll be amazed at some of the things that schools are called upon to provide for children, including breakfast and lunch, right? Breakfast and lunch. There's even some schools that have gone so far as to have like a Saturday afternoon meal because some of the kids really need it. There's just not enough at home. So, well, anyway, that is how the Sussexes roll. And again, you all should be very proud that you're on the right side of history, and that, like myself, that you all have been supporting Harry and Meghan for so many years. Hey, Legs, thank you so much for being here. And just a couple of photos of Harry and Meghan for Valentine's Day. One of the squatties kind of reached back and found a couple of things to share with us. Oh, you know what? I believe Meghan is wearing the Heart Mom necklace. I just noticed that. Had I realized, I would have actually had another photo ready to share with you, because you can actually order that. And of course, the money goes to a very worthy cause. And then there's this one. So if being away from that institution makes things like this frequent and normal, then they made the right choice. Because who would want to be all bound up in protocol and such? And of course, the made up protocol. Who would want that? Nobody, I suspect, except for people who really do not feel that close to one another in the first place. Is over. It's over. It's over. It's over. It is over for that clan. Oh man. I mean, that family. Yes, it is over. Well, soon. But I'm telling you, the fat lady is singing. She is belting out a tune. Yes, it's over. The polls are low. Pretty soon you all will have to go. And make sure you leave the keys to all the properties. And it's clear to see. Oh, wow, I just made that up. I should have been a songwriter. I think I missed my calling. I'm not saying the songs would make much sense, but yes, the fat lady is singing, and they are panicking, and they should, because things are going south for them. Look at pathetic Camilla with that long face of hers. Wilbur. While Camilla tours police station for a PR boost and listens to 999 calls, the royals continue to protect ashamed that is Andrew. They lecture us on domestic abuse, while the elites hide their own scandals in palaces absolutely absolute hypocrisy. So let me make that bigger because I can barely see that. Uh, uh, uh. But yeah, so that's what's happening. They are trying to carry on business as usual, but how long can you ignore the 800-pound gorilla? How long can you ignore the elephant that's in the room and some of those other metaphors? How long? How long do you think that people are going to tolerate this pretense that the world is not looking upside your head with disdain? Because they are. Horse is a horse is a horse, of course. Oh man. And I have to tell you, I do hope that people will continue to heckle them. All of them, except for the children. I don't want them heckling those children. But yes, I hope they continue to heckle them. Just leave them babies alone. Them babies didn't ask for this life. Even if one day they might grow up and be just as horrible as the rest of them. But until then, they're children. But yeah, so that is what's happening, is that they're pretending as though everything is normal, nothing to see here, folks. But the truth is, this is a very rough time for the royal family. And the public heckling, that is something that Queen Elizabeth rarely experienced, although it was not unheard of. I do recall the Queen being heckled in Scotland. And not long before she died, she got heckled when she went up there to open Parliament. So if it's good enough for the Queen, but let's have a little sample of it, shall we?
Have you been covering up for Andrew?
Hey, go away, man. Go away. That's enough. There's children here, right? Police officer, right? You carry on, you can be arrested for breach of peace. Okay.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you been covering up for Andrew?
Hey, go away, man. Go away. That's enough. There's children here, right? Police officer, right? You carry on, you can be arrested for breach of peace. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you can't stand the heat, oh, but I thought everybody loves Catherine, right?
struggle to heat our homes, we have to pay for your parade. The taxpayer pays 100 million for you, and what for? Needham Renin, not my king. Charles, while we struggle to heat our homes, we have to pay for your parade. The taxpayer pays 100 million for you, and what for? Needham Renin, not my king.
Oh, well, so I think you get the point. They're not invincible. And I do have one where, but I think that's enough for now. But I do have one where Kate was booed without, the, what do you call it? The troop in the colors. She was wearing that god awful pink outfit. And I don't know what the occasion was, but there was some lady out there with a sign that, just kind of took her on all by herself. So there are people that will spontaneously boo them. There was one kid who wanted to hold up a sign with Will and Kate, and the police detained him. He wasn't yelling, but they don't even want you holding up a sign. Now, again, I don't approve of this happening with the kids like that. Oh, that just, I do not like that for the kids. Also, I don't like it for anyone. I really don't. And the reason why is because you don't know if that is like a distraction that can lead to some type of attempt on someone's life. And I don't want that for anyone. No, none of them in that family. And it's a dangerous thing, which of course you have to wonder, well, why do the tabloids, why do the newspaper, why do they try to push or draw this out of people? If the Sussexes appear on the balcony, will you boo? If they come to the prayer service, will you boo? Which means, of course, they are trying to entice some type of reaction like that. And the hate campaign from the tabloids, I mean, let's be honest, it has done damage to the Sussexes' reputation. There's always going to be someone who will believe the worst of a person. I just saw something, and I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'm just going to try to be very quick about it. Did anybody see the actress Rosie Perez? I can't remember. I think it was Nicole Wallace that interviewed her. And she said something to the effect that I didn't understand what Kamala was about. And she was troubled by that at the time. And I'm just like, to compare Kamala to that monster in the presidential residence, I don't care if the person only had 2 brain cells. I would expect them to do a better job than the current person that's in there. And this comes from Rosie Perez, actress of Puerto Rican descent. And considering everything that man has done to disrespect Puerto Rico, especially after the floods, do you know it has been reported that they still have rolling blackouts in Puerto Rico? I tell you, someplace that probably doesn't have rolling blackouts. They probably don't have them in Baghdad, right? Because it's bought and paid for by us. I bet you they don't have them in whatever the capital of Afghanistan. I bet you they don't have them there. I bet you they don't have them most places where the military industrial complex has gone to work. But Puerto Rico, a United States territory, and all Puerto Rican citizens are indeed United States citizens. They can come and go as they please. They have a social security number from birth. They still have rolling blackouts, and they want to blame it on the government in Puerto Rico. But the truth is, they passed a law that made sure that we all have electrical service in these United States, in the 50 United States. And there's no reason why they could not make that law extend to Puerto Rico if they wanted to. But it's very deliberate that they are living below the national standard. So, but I was very disappointed with Rosie Perez. I don't know what the last movie or whatever she's done, but as far as I'm concerned, I hope she never has another, because I did not like that. Yep. Let me see here. Hi, Baron. I've missed you all. Trying to catch up on replays. Hey, T-Mac. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for 34 months. Oh, wait. Membership. 34 months membership. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, and Janet Jackson with her weird remarks. Rosie was being willingly ignorant. Unfortunately, some who pride themselves with being informed didn't realize what was at stake and overall didn't worry about being affected. Yeah, which is very sad. It really makes me sad. You know, I am bothered by the fact that there's not enough affordable housing in this country. And I have been very comfortable in the place I live for a long time. But I don't sit here and pretend like, oh, that doesn't affect me, because it affects a lot of people in this country. And therefore, I feel like it affects me. You know, if we're paying all these taxes, and of course, the Constitution, what is that? Protect the general welfare. And protecting the general welfare means protecting the lifestyle that people need to succeed. So that is why there are housing subsidies and such, to ensure that working class people can have a decent, safe place to live. And even though it doesn't affect me directly at this time, I still care. And I care about the Latino kids that are definitely afraid of the government, afraid of the president. Again, something that is not likely to affect me, but I am affected by it. And Rosie Perez, who, you know, if not for her celebrity, could easily have been swept up in some kind of way that, you know, would have caused her a great deal of harm or embarrassment, or even that of her family. And she has the nerves to sit there and say, well, I just didn't know what she was about. She didn't, you know, to Leg's point, willingly ignorant. If you haven't learned from observing what Harry and Meghan have gone through, or if you just never have paid that close attention to politics, everything that you say can be a talking point for the entire week. And I will never, ever blame Kamala Harris for trying to play it safe. I don't think people really appreciate what a presidential campaign does to a person, but you cannot get it right half the time. You can't get it right most of the time, and you're certainly not going to get it right all the time. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is keep your mouth shut, to say as little as possible. But I hope Rosie Perez knows that Kamala Harris mopped the floor with the so-called president in their debate, mopped the floor with him. He didn't even want to debate her, but he had to, so he did. And she was so effective and so clear that the next day he began talking about people eating dogs and cats. And there's a lot of people who laughed or people who were angry, not realizing the whole point was to make sure that Kamala Harris, at that one point where she was able to articulate herself, to make sure that nobody spoke about her the next day, that instead we talked about dogs and cats. Rosie Perez, let me see. Oh, you know what? You know what she needs. I know what she needs, and you know what she needs. So let's give her the message, shall we?
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, she needs to sit down somewhere. And I mean, really sit down. Let's see. I care because life can go south at the drop of a hat. Hello. Thank you very much, Hazel Jones. And that is so true. And these social safety nets may not serve us today, but they will definitely be available, hopefully, be available if we need them tomorrow. It's breathtaking that so many people, I mean, I don't expect everyone to pay as close attention to politics as the next person because it is very, very stressful. It can cause so much anxiety, depression, fear. So at a certain point, it's the healthy thing to do is to step away from it. But if you don't really know what's going on, shut up. Just stop talking. If you don't know what's going on, stop talking. There is always a reason why they say certain things. Always. Everything is calculated. I don't care who the president is or who the candidate or the politician. It's always a calculation there. It's very rare that they just do something for the sake of doing it. And everything goes through a focus group and some type of internal polling. It just has to. That's the only way they can survive. So, yeah, I was very disappointed with Rosie Perez. Very disappointed. I liked her as a person and as an actress, but she was very wrong saying that. Anyway, I do think that at least until the midterm elections, all of this activity is going to slowly dissipate. That they're going to have to wear body cameras. They're going to have to get rid of the face mask, and that they are going to have to be more traditional in their approach to enforcing border control, which is a good thing. So, okay. I had something I was going to share, but since we just spoke about immigration, I'll share it now. It was really for the end, but you know how sometimes you save some things and you don't know that you have it because you forgot all about it. But what offers citizenship, land or blood? What offers citizenship, land or blood? Well, the rule of land is everything in blue, and the rule of blood is everything in red. So if you're born in the blue nations, you are automatically offered citizenship, irrespective of your parents' nationality. And if you are born in one of those red countries, if you're born in the red nations, your citizenship depends on the citizenship of your parents. So that's the term anchor baby. That's where anchor baby comes from. An anchor baby is a baby that is born in another nation, deliberately, of course, born in another nation. Sometimes they will conceal this from a border agent, and sometimes they will actually live in a group setting to save money, just to make sure that their child gives them a foothold into another country. So that's the term anchor baby. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that it's not a given that because a child is born in another country, that you automatically become a citizen of that country. Is just not true. But I didn't know that there was so much red out there. I had no clue. Wow, Madagascar too? Which, okay, I got one more thing politic that I want to mention, and that is this. There's psychological warfare that goes on with elections, especially a presidential election. And a lot of people are bamboozled by it. When Al Gore had the election stolen from him, in order to suppress any outrage, the Republican talking point became, if only he had won the state of Tennessee, his home state, he would be president right now. How about if only y'all didn't steal Florida, he would be president right now. But they say that for a reason. Remember, it's always calculated. They say that as a way to calm down the masses who may have felt that that the election was stolen. So that is like a little mind game that they play with people, a little mental sleight of hand to make you feel, it is reasonable that that Florida, it didn't matter because he didn't win his home state. And then they'll mention that to the next person and the next person. And they hope everybody says it at some point. Well, guess what? Trump didn't win his home state twice. No, 3 times. He didn't win his home state. Now what? So just be careful with those talking points. The day after the election, everybody's going to have an opinion why this person did not win or that person did not win. And there's a lot of Democrats who just do not realize what a big deal Gaza was. They feel it was one thing or the other, but they never mentioned Gaza. But that was also a factor. It really hurt me hearing people saying genocide Joe. That was very hurtful because I liked Joe Biden. I thought he was an honorable, decent man. But I could not really argue about that part of it because that was wrong. The whole thing was wrong, and it continues to erode people's confidence in both parties. Let's see. Jessica says media gives people with negative or misinformation platforms, uh, and it is not an accident. No, it's by design. It's not by accident. It's by design. It's very deliberate. Just like the big red map that they show after a presidential election. Most of the red states are probably the lowest population centers, or should I say, the lowest density in population in all of the United States, especially once you get west of the Mississippi. Traditionally, it is sparsely populated because there is little rainfall the closer you get to the mountains. The closer you get to the Rocky Mountains, rainfall is almost non-existent in comparison to east of the Mississippi. And for that reason, there has always been problems building urban areas or even, small cities because of issues of water supply. And there are some states where the state is so small, I do believe they may have the same number of Congress persons as they do senators. And there might even be a state where there's only one congressperson and two senators. Every state gets two senators. So anyway, we'll do some civics one day because that's a fun topic. And maybe myself and Hazel and Legs can throw some interesting topics around about civics so that people have a better understanding. It's easier to learn these things away from an election year. But if there's a presidential election, it's just so much misinformation. It's hard to take it in. But it's one of my favorite topics, and I do enjoy talking about it. Okay, I'm going to move on to something else. All right, so this was trending thanks to Ellie Hall. Let me make that nice and big for these old bloodshot eyes of mine. Okay, so Ellie says, I have always found it interesting that one of Harry and Meghan's worst royal media cycles, their use of private jets in August of 2019, began the same day pictures of Prince Andrew, the sick old man, at Epstein's New York City home in December 2010 were published. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? It says here on the left, Jumbo, or should I say Dumbo Jet, eco warriors Meghan Markle and Prince Harry fly on private jet again to France after gas guzzling Ibiza trip. The thing is, to be fair, I do not believe Meghan or Harry has ever complained about people flying on private jets. I don't know that I've ever heard a conversation that involved either Harry or Meghan where they spoke about the environment. Now, obviously, we're all conscious of the use of fossil fuels and the impact that it has on the environment. Harry is the founder of Travelers, where he gives you an opportunity to control the level of carbon emissions that you as a consumer generate every time you book a ticket or every time you book a hotel, right? That's what Travelers does. And so big major credit card and hotel and travel, rent a car, airlines, a lot of people have signed on to this interest in carbon emissions. But I don't know that there was ever a time when Harry's pointed the finger at anyone. I don't recall. I cannot find it. And of course, nothing from Meghan at all about that. Doesn't mean she doesn't care, but please show me the hypocrisy because I don't recall seeing it. And the tabloids, for the sake of creating and generating hostility and outrage, they lie. They routinely lie about who has complained about consumption of fossil fuels, the use of private jets. It is made up in most cases, and they get away with it. And I'm going to do the same thing for Will and Kate. William, yes. Kate, no. Kate has not expressed anything whatsoever about the environment that I know of. No public declarations, no finger pointing, nothing. And yet Kate is always pulled into the argument for the sake of making a case against William. The rare times that they do that, but still, they always condemn the woman, the wife, for something that they've never spoken about. And that is not fair, even for Kate. Now, William, of course, is a hypocrite. He's a huge hypocrite, an environmental hypocrite. Not Kate, not Godzilla, Camilla, and certainly not Meghan. But once again, they are branded as hypocrites for something that they've never said. But again, it is interesting that the Sussexes were taken to task about this issue when the Cambridges at the time routinely have flown on private jets over and over again. Plus the unnecessary use of helicopters. And there are plenty opportunities where Will and Kate could actually take the train. They could have done it when they were the Cambridges. And they chose to use helicopters for even short jaunts. They would take the helicopter. Now, Harry and Meghan, they have often taken the train. They took the train when they went to One Young World. They took the train to Cardiff. They could have used the helicopter, I'm sure, but they took the train. As a matter of fact, there was a delay. They were late because of the train. And yet, they're the ones that are always singled out as the hypocrites by the tabloid media. They used to go after Will and Kate. They used to go after Charles, but now it is mostly focused on the Sussexes, who are more likely to use a commercial flight than any other senior royal in that family. Very unfair. And this is also unfair that they decided to wage this campaign against them when there was something more interesting to talk about, like Andrew at that house. Now, the photos were taken back in 2010, it said. And in August of 2019, when the Sussexes were trying to make up their minds about whether to stay or to go, this is yet another thing that just pushed them over the brink. Now, unfortunately, Harry responded by saying that I will do whatever it takes to make sure that my family's travel is secure. And Sir Elton John was pulled into it. Do you guys recall that? Elton John claimed that he paid the carbon offset, or whatever they call that, where you plant trees to offset your use of carbon emissions. Something that he does all the time is to pay that carbon offset. I mean, it's not a complete success, but it does help because trees actually take in the carbon that's in the atmosphere. They breathe that carbon and turn it into oxygen or whatever. So trees are very important. They are the lungs of our planet. They say that the Amazon is the lungs of planet Earth. If it wasn't for the Amazon, oxygen in this world would not be so available for us. But anyway, that's another thing. So yeah, that is what Ellie pointed out. And of course, someone else actually started the conversation, I think. I don't usually talk about these things, but I have a feeling that the British tabloid media piled on Harry and Meghan to deflect that is, from the attention away from Andrew. It was a deflection, a protection deflection to help Andrew. And you know what? They helped the Sussexes too, because it helped them to make up their mind to leave. There are layers. They were not only covering up for Andrew, Prince William and Kate Middleton were at the center of it all. Receipts. Note, Carolyn Graham wrote the Andrew story. Later on, she became the chief Sussex tormentor or dementor. And she has been that. She has. I always notice when she has written an article, and she is the one that they have used as, for lack of a better word, a hitman to go after their reputation, to try and destroy their reputation. She wrote that piece about Meghan running for senator of California, a big fat lie. Which, okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about politics anymore, but I got to say this. I'm so sorry to backtrack. There's this pretense that the Democrats had other choices rather than having Kamala at the top, Kamala, that is, at the top of the ticket. That we didn't get a chance to choose another candidate, a supposedly stronger candidate to go up against Trump. No, we didn't have a choice, and we were not supposed to have a choice. In what world do you take away the candidacy from the serving vice president? It is highly, highly unlikely that a reigning vice president would have that option taken away. If that does happen, there's more problems than that person may be a weak candidate. That means that the party, the political party, is in disarray. And that was another one of those psychological things that they use to create hostility against Kamala and to sow seeds of doubt and create disarray in the Democrat Party. And it was very effective. Keep people angry and make sure that they don't go to the polls. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because I thought that was equally important, that yes, you do have an option to choose another candidate, but it is highly, highly unlikely to happen. And I say that it should not happen unless that person has something ethical that would almost assure a loss. I don't know how you could possibly take that away from a serving vice president. I don't know how that would happen. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. By George Clooney getting involved, it actually gives license to other people. Yeah. Oh my God. She's the gift that just keeps on destroying. Yep. 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 And of course, that other thing that causes people to get angry at me, but there was never a point where Hillary Clinton was running behind Bernie Sanders, who was grossly unprepared to run for president. No Democrat will ever win without the support of Black women. Bernie Sanders, no matter how charismatic, he never had the support of Black women. Therefore, he was never going to win. He was never going to overtake Hillary. They used that whole argument about the superdelegates. In the end, they were not necessary because Hillary was never behind. But they created so much confusion, which created apathy, which means people stayed home. They made people believe, and the MSNBC, all of these so-called liberal media outlets, they allowed people false hope where there was none. It was horrible for me because I knew exactly what was happening. They were getting so many ratings, charging more money for commercials. They made a fortune from this idea that it's a toss-up between Hillary and Bernie Sanders. There never was. I don't care how much you like Bernie Sanders. I don't care how much momentum they said he had. It's just not true. He was not going to win. What he did was help to create disarray within the Democrat Party. Yeah, he never had a chance. He never registered in his home state. He was not on the ballot in New York, his state of birth. And then they blamed the Democrats, accusing the Democrats of conspiring against Bernie Sanders, which they did not. He was not prepared. He was sitting up there enjoying this attention that he never had in life. And he took the entire party down with him. And for that, I will never, ever forgive him. Ever. His ego, his pride is the reason why that monster got in the White House. I said that before on Royal Sussex, and there were some people that were so angry at me. I don't care. I'm telling you the truth. It was never going to work. The media gave false hope. They kept showing these numbers, pretending like there was a chance. There wasn't. And I want to say one more thing about this, and then I'm going to go back to what I'm supposed to be talking about. The superdelegates. You know what the superdelegates could have done for the Republicans? The superdelegates, they're the ones who are a safeguard against a lunatic candidate, a loose cannon. Just in case the will of the people is misrepresented, they would have the ability, a superdelegate, to put things right. Which I know it doesn't seem fair, but if that person was running as a Democrat, he never would have made it because the superdelegates would have made that impossible for him. So before we throw out the baby with the bathwater and dismiss the need for superdelegates, that would have been all we needed to avoid the mess we're in right now. And he's not even a Democrat. He's an independent that runs as a socialist Democrat. He's not even a Democrat. He's not even a member of the party. And people say, well, he caucused with the party. He also voted for the 94 crime bill. You know who didn't vote for the 94 crime bill? Hillary Clinton. She didn't vote for it. But most people believe she did because the way people kept repeating, Hillary gave a speech on behalf of the Democrat Party and for the sake of her husband. She gave that unfortunate speech to push through legislation for the 94 crime bill, a crime bill which most of the, if not all of the Congressional Black Caucus voted for. Bernie Sanders voted for it. Who got blamed for it? Hillary Clinton. That's why I say there's so many things that people don't know and don't get. They're full of emotion, but they don't know the truth. That anger masks the reality. And I'm just a layperson. I don't have a degree in political science, but I got good sense and I pay attention to what people are saying. Is Hillary Clinton a saint? Certainly not. She's what you call the devil we know. Okay, I'm done with that. I get a little excited. So we were talking about this, And then we talked about this. There are layers. They were not only covering up for Prince Andrew, Prince William, and Kate Middleton were at the center of all. Receipts. Well, there's the receipts. There are your receipts, courtesy of the Sussex Squad. That's why they don't like us. Kensington Palace did awful lot of leaking on Harry and Meghan, claims royal commentator. Or how about this one? Prince William's former aide, Simon Case, was responsible for drafting a key document over Prince Harry's departure from the royal family court paper state. They had this little flunky help purge the Sussexes away from the family. And who did he work for? Prince William, Harry's brother. Prince William's aide played a key role in Harry and Meghan's royal exit. Simon Case allowed unrelenting and systematic racism to run rampant in cabinet office. And let's not forget the other thing. A lot of the social media accounts that are run by the royal family were allowed to leave their comments in place, meaning, of course, all of the negative, racist, and conspiratorial comments about the Sussexes were allowed to stay. But when somebody goes after Will and Kate, Charles, and Godzilla, they'll turn off the comments. They turn them off. If the newspapers write something they don't like, they will call and even threaten to sue. Harry and Meghan were not allowed to sue, and certainly were told to stay silent and never complain, never explain. Although those other people did a lot of explaining and complaining and shaming. Yeah, they never worked for the Sussexes in the first place. Every article, I promise you, I'm not making this up. Every article that said that Jason was Harry and Meghan's aide or secretary or whatever, it always finished with, and Will and Kate too. And the same thing when, what's his name? Jonathan. No, what's the other guy's name? The one that Will went to the hospital. Good looking. What's that kid's name? Anyway, same thing. He was supposed to be working for the Sussexes, but the article finished by saying that he also worked for Will and Kate. Anyone who worked at Kensington Palace worked for William. Christian Jones, thank you. Anyone who worked at Kensington Palace, I don't care if you are there to garden or whatever, the senior most royal was Prince William. You didn't work for Charles. He didn't have a residence there. You didn't work for the Queen. She didn't have a residence there. But do you think that anyone was allowed to refuse directions or questions from William or on William's behalf? Certainly not. Those people never worked for the Sussexes. The same as Samantha Cohen. They sent her over to watch and observe and to plot against the Sussexes. She never worked for them. She stayed for a short period and left as soon as she was allowed. It was somebody's bright idea that Harry and Meghan needed more supervision and guidance, that Meghan had no idea what she was doing, and she needed someone to lord over her. Certainly not. So much of what they do is common sense. And after all, out of everyone in that household and every staff person in that household, I wonder how many of them have a degree in international relations. We can count Meghan, but what about the rest of them? How much do you know about diplomacy when you have an art degree? And William, with his geography, um, even though he's supposed to be so fine-tuned with geography, doesn't seem like he knows much about world history, does he? I believe that to be true. I believe that to be true. It's the path of least resistance. It is the path of least resistance. Instead of trying to sort it out and go the wrong direction, you can just take the easiest path possible from point A to point B. And that sounds completely plausible. And I do believe that that's exactly how it happened. Now, there's this. I'm going to have to put some sound on for this one. It is exactly what it appears to be. Yet another opportunity to hijack Meghan's role, her style. Yet another hijack.
So I'm just going to talk about this one, guys. So with Kate Middleton, she'd never ever associated herself with the children before at the Commonwealth Day. So if you look at the top one at the top with the pink coat, that was 2015. And what she did was she came out, she took the flowers from the little girl, said thank you, walked off, and her face dropped, and she gave a filthy look. And there was no touching, no crouching down right on the floor to talk to the girl, never touched her outfit, nothing. And then the next one across is the grey coat, and that was 2016 at the Commonwealth. Again, just talking to the girl, took the flowers and walked off. Not really any conversation at all, didn't take any interest in the girl. Now we have Meghan at the top in February 2018. This was her first Commonwealth debut. Now, as you can see, Meghan's crouching right down on the floor. She's got the little girl's arm and she's face to face having a proper conversation. And the next photo down is Kate, and this was Kate also at the Commonwealth Day 2018. And she's crouching down to the little girl. And she's actually talking to them this time and having a conversation. And she did touch the little girl's arm. I know on this one you can't see it, but she did if you just look it up. And I'm just thinking, how can you go from the first one in the pink coat to no conversation to then actually, yes, I am going to get down and I am going to talk to you? How can you change like that? You can tell it's not genuine with Kate with the children, because if it was, she'd have done it in the first place, and she didn't, because 2015 and 2016, there wasn't any interest in the child. It was no conversation. Yet when Meghan turns up, ooh, I'm going to copy Meghan and get down on the floor and start talking to the children. And pretend I'm interested in like she is, but she doesn't want to do it, but she's doing it because Meghan's doing it, and she has to look like this kind-hearted woman, but she isn't. She's heartless. And then the next one is Kate, and she's touching the little girl's top. Now, again, if you compare this to the top one in the pink coat, where's that come from? She never did that before, touching the little girl's top. Trying to act all interested again, like, oh, that's a pretty top, but you don't care, Kate, you're just doing it again, because next to her was Meghan when she left the Commonwealth. And again, that's the crouching down, but you have to remember, everyone, that Meghan started the crouching down at the Commonwealth Day. Just look at the top picture and you'll see what I'm talking about. How can Kate go from no conversation, no touching, no interest, to then all down on her knees, talking to the child, touching her outfit, and actually having a conversation with her, and actually looking interested, but she wasn't. It was just an act. But it just goes to show, when Meghan turned up into the royal family, Kate had to raise her game, and she had to copy everything Meghan did to make herself look relatable and popular, because she knew how popular Meghan was. And she thought, right, I'll have to do everything that she's doing, hence why we've got the same crouching down. But if you compare it from 2015 to 2016, what changed? It's because of Meghan. You don't do it 2 years and then just decide, oh, actually, I think I will crouch down. You do it at the beginning. You don't just do it, Kate, because Meghan's turned up. You actually have to want to do it. This is the thing with Kate. She doesn't want to do it. She's having to do it. And then this one was 2020, Meghan in the green, and Kate at the bottom in the red was 2020. And this was Meghan's last Commonwealth appearance before they went back to America. And again, look, Kate's trying to act all interested in the children, talking, pretending again, because Meghan's there. And again, crouching down. And then if you compare that to the top two of Kate, 2015 and 2016, there's nothing. But how come she's changed? And then people say, oh, perhaps she was nervous, or perhaps she needed to find her feet. Rubbish. Meghan found her feet and she just turned up. So I don't buy that one, anyone. And then if you look at the one in the blue coat of Kate at the bottom, this is the Commonwealth Day 2022. Now you have to remember, Harry and Meghan had gone. They'd left the royal family. And what's happened to the crouching? Why isn't Kate crouching anymore? It's because Meghan's gone. See where I'm trying to come from, guys? When Meghan's on the scene, she'll crouch down and talk to the children and act all interested. But when Meghan ups and leaves with Harry to America, Kate stops crouching down to the children. Get it? Can you understand where I'm trying to come from here? Because people say, oh, you're mad. I'm not. You can just go from all the top. She's actually gone back to how she was behaving on the two top ones in 2015, 2016, because 2022, Meghan's gone and she's like she was before. No more crouching, no more touching, no more smiling. And then 2023, this one was, again, she's slightly arching her back forward to talk to the child. But again, she's not getting down on all fours anymore. That's stopped because Meghan's not there. And it just goes to show how much influence Meghan has over Kate and how much Kate feels threatened by her. Because how come she never crouched to the children? And then she started crouching when Meghan's there. And then after Meghan's gone, the crouching and the touching the children has stopped. That's not a coincidence, guys. She was only doing it for Meghan's benefit. Because Meghan was there, I'm going to do what she's doing. But now she's gone, I don't have to do it anymore. So that just shows you, everyone, how Kate isn't genuine. She's a fraud. She's a scammer almost. She's just pretending. She's making out she's this wonderful person who likes children, but she doesn't. Because how come she's gone back on these two occasions to how she was at the top? Where's all the crouching gone? Where's all the touching the clothes? It stopped because of Meghan and Harry going to America. See, if Harry and Meghan were still there, she'd have continued touching and talking to the children. But because they've gone It's, I don't want to crouch anymore. I don't need to. Meghan's gone. I don't feel threatened anymore. You gotta work it out, everyone. It's so obvious. Just look at the photos and you'll see what I'm talking about. How come you go from no touching, no socialising, no connection with the child? Meghan turns up and she starts putting in some effort and she's copying what Meghan's doing with the children. I'm going to crouch. I'm going to start touching and talking about what top they're wearing and everything. You got to realise, guys, you need to wake up.
So on TikTok, Kate is obsessed with Meghan. That is the name of her TikTok. Kate is obsessed with Meghan. Yeah, I see it. I see exactly what she's talking about. It was a reaction to Meghan's movement, which is obvious. I mean, would I be wrong to assume that Kate observes everything that Meghan is doing? That she sits back like a the visiting football team or baseball team or basketball team, where you just sit there and go through the plays. You try to look for every hand signal and every gesture so you can play against your opponent, right? Like you're sitting there watching an old boxing reel to make sure that you can outperform your opponent. That's what it appears to be. I don't know what else you would call it. She is greatly intimidated by Meghan. It bothered her how more advanced that Meghan was in every way. And when it was time to throw her weight around, she did that easily. It was like taking a breath. It came very natural to her, throwing her weight around, doing everything she could to make life as miserable for Meghan as possible, never really wanting to befriend her or have any concerns for her. I remember some of the headlines would say, Kate shows Meghan the ropes. And then, of course, there was that period when they said that Sophie Wessex was going to show her the ropes. Or this idea that Afro Annie is going to put Meghan in her place. It's not rocket science, you guys, being in that family. It really isn't. For all of the bluster, and I'm going to give credit to Prince William. He performs flawlessly. I don't mean that he's so smart and he knows everything that's going on, but he can get through his engagements without incident. Kate, pretty much the same. She can get through her engagements without incident. But there's no excitement. There's very little excitement that isn't manufactured. We know that they have people that go forward their visit and pass out flags and instruct people when to yell, just like you would manage, say, a television game show. You want to build us as much enthusiasm as possible. Let's see, Meghan wouldn't stand for, yes, Kate did. Copy that. Meghan wouldn't stand for, what is DV? What is DV? DV? Okay, you done lost me on that. What in the heck is DV? DV. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, wait. There you go. Thank you very much, Legs. I was like, what? Well, Kate is a Stepford wife. I mean, it's true. She's a Stepford wife. And pretty much there is no pushback. There's very little pushback. And I'm afraid to think what pushback turns into for Kate. I mean, there's a reason why you can barely understand what she's saying. You know, I hate to bring this into the conversation, but let's face it, Joe Jackson was a terror, and he terrorized his kids to get as much out of the performance as possible. And I believe that's why most people in the Jackson family talk like a mouse. They seem to all have that in common. All of the kids in the Jackson family are very soft-spoken. Now, when they're performing, you know, they have a stage presence like none other. But casually speaking, they're all very mousy. And that's not normal. Especially for a Black family. I mean, come on. Well, it's true, Simon Black. At least I believe it to be true. And I think that's why Kate talks the way she does. She's afraid to project. She is afraid to project. She's not allowed to project. Yeah, there's a severe penalty if you are projecting too much.
Face the daily challenge at finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact. Leaders, you'll face the daily challenge at finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
Yeah. Between profitability and having a positive impact. That's what it's between. Woo! It's between profitability and having a positive impact.
Congratulations. We're so happy to have you here because you are one of our Power of Women honorees. You are one of our alumni. And we're so thrilled because this is a night that is about supporting women and the idea that it's important to do so, especially in the entertainment industry. Why has that been so important for you to have that support and to give that support back?
Oh gosh, I mean, this industry is just so special, and you see how many women use the platform that they have and just channel it for good. And I think as the more we support each other, it just amplifies the work, amplifies our community. I'm just thrilled to be back in it and to be able to sit in this room, be in such good company tonight, and also to focus so much on how it's the crossroads of entertainment meeting philanthropy. So really close to my heart. It's gonna be a fun night.
It's going to be a really good time because it's full of women whose art has inspired us all this year. But I will say, I'm sure you've probably noticed that a certain show, Suits, has become a phenomenon yet again on Netflix. 45 billion minutes have been watched. Is that right? 45 billion as of this week. We just found out 24 minutes ago that is the number.
Who's counting?
But literally, who's counting? What do you think is behind this renewed love for the show? Why has it become such a phenomenon again?
I have no idea. It was great to work on such a great cast and crew. We had a really fun time. I was on it for 7 seasons, so quite a bit. But it's hard to find a show you can binge watch that many episodes of these days, so that could have something to do with it. But good shows are everlasting.
Well, that's what you're doing now. You have now come into Hollywood in a producerial capacity. What is inspiring you? And as you're kind of looking to make these new projects, what is the thing that is, driving the work that you're going to put out into the business?
Things that make people feel, I was going to say good, but it's more than that. Things that make people feel something, right? And feel a sense of community, but we have so many exciting things on this slate. I can't wait until we can announce them, but I'm just really proud of what we're creating. My husband is loving it too. It's really fun.
We're here anytime you want to make those announcements.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll get in touch then. Yeah.
We're thrilled to have you here as one of our honorees, our alumni. So nice to see you.
It's great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Now do you see why Kate was so intimidated? The ease in which Meghan was able to take in questions and respond in kind. The ease of it. That is why she's intimidated, because she just doesn't have that. She's supposed to be so high and mighty, but yet she does not have that. She's incapable of that. Now, we all have our talents. We're not all supposed to be good at everything, but for that powerful platform, it's just unfortunate that Kate is unable to manage it.
From my standpoint, how I will continue to express this, both through our foundation and through being able to move through the world, I suppose, is just looking at this as my chapter of joy. And the more that you are able to look at your life and really, truly recognize that if you're going to be grateful for your life, you have to be grateful for all aspects of it. The parts that were opportunities of growth and may have felt really difficult, as well as the parts that feel inspiring, joyful, and full. And I think part of the role modeling doesn't necessarily need to be a large plan, it just needs to be an intention. And my intentionality is to enjoy this chapter and to be able to move through every piece of that as best as I can, modeling that if we are in the spirit of gratitude and of generosity, how we are able to connect with each other as women, how we are able to move through the world in a much freer way, I think is part of how we continue to create the conditions I was speaking about earlier. And you may have noticed it, my husband and I were talking about it this morning. I've just really relaxed on this trip. That's probably because it's Colombia and you all know how to have fun. But there's been something really, that's true. There's something so liberating about being able to be yourself and be comfortable in your skin and be surrounded in a space that is excited to see you exactly the way that you are. And so I think that is part of the chapter for me of joy that will hopefully continue to inspire and allow me to keep doing the work that we love to do, which is to just be of service and see other people live their lives through that same joyful spirit.
Hola. Hola. Muy buenas tardes. Me gustaría empezar en español. Porque estamos en su país, mi marido y yo, y puedo sentir este abrazo de Colombia. Y es increíble. Entonces, gracias, muchas gracias, porque la cultura, la historia, todo estaba como un sueño, este viaje. Y perdona si mi español no está perfecto, porque yo aprendí hace 20 años en Argentina, pero estoy tratando, porque acá puedo sentir esta comunidad y este es el sentimiento que es lo mejor del mundo ahora. Entonces, gracias, vicepresidenta, mi amiga. Muchas gracias. Y bueno, ahora en inglés. So I will say...
Okay, well, there you have it. So, if Kate is really keen on being the second coming of Meghan, then that's what she needs to do. That's what she needs to do. If she really wants to adapt and try to walk in Meghan's shoes or try to style herself more like Meghan, which she seems to be shamelessly doing, then that's part of it. That's a major part of it. Is she needs to communicate better. All she has to do is be prepared. I don't feel bad pointing this out because of the hell that she and her husband have put Meghan through. Meghan is a girl's girl, and she reaches out to other women with support. As she says, a high tide lifts every boat. And much to Kate's detriment, someone who could have really been helpful to her, supportive of her, was pushed away. And not only pushed away, but brutally pushed away. So I was trying to find one more thing. I'm kind of stalling, but even if I don't find it, I think we all got the point. But yeah, give me just a second because I really would love to share that. It is a language, well, not language, but a a person that will help people be more effective as speakers. He has a critique of Meghan's. Oh, there it is. He has a critique of Meghan's speaking style. And if I can grab this, that would be helpful. And then I'll share it with you. Let me see. Okay, I wouldn't make this too easy for me to grab it, would I? But give me just a second and talk amongst yourselves. And I think you will enjoy this. Some of you may remember it, may have seen it before, but it is one of my favorites. And this is someone who's very impartial. They don't know much about the royal family. They only can identify a great speaker when they see one. Mm. Oh my, am I going the wrong direction here? Almost. I think I'm near. Oh, there it is. So I need to download it. And then that way I can put it here. It's probably an easier way to do it, but this is the only way I know. My throat's kind of dry tonight. Are we there yet? Okay, let me see if I can grab it. Okay, was that successful? Probably not. Almost. Give me just a second, you guys. And I promise you, all shall be revealed. Okay. And I do thank you all for being so patient with me. Some things I just think about as I go along. As you are aware, try one more thing. I downloaded it, but I don't know what I did with it. Oh Lord. This would not be easy, would it? Let me try that one more time. Okay. Well, if this doesn't work, I'll just have to try again later. Okay. Oh. Okay, yeah, that did not work. Blast it all. Sorry for my language. Okay, one more time. Okay, it's not working. It would have been cool if it did. Oh, well, you know what? I did try it another way. Let me do this. Okay. Okay. This is so going to work, you guys. Give me just a minute and all shall be revealed. Okay. It's downloading. Oh, you said 10 years for the guy to make up his mind. Um, okay, finally. Here goes. And there's no sound. All of that, and there's no sound. Okay, I tell you what, there will be sound. Give me just a minute. I cannot believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to have to play the sound another way. So it may be a bit out of time or whatever, but here goes.
I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking abilities.
And this evening, I am extremely proud to stand before you on this significant day, which serves as a reminder to all of us of how far we've come, but also amid celebration, a reminder of the road ahead.
She looks around at the audience.
Okay, I'm going to try that one more time and try to get it in sync.
I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking ability. I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking abilities.
And this evening,
I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking abilities.
And this evening, I am extremely proud to stand before you on this significant day, which serves as a reminder to all of us of how far we've come, but also amid celebration, a reminder of the road ahead.
She looks around at the audience. She has a very calm way of speaking, and she has this aura of elegance when she presents.
When I was just 11 years old, it was around the same time.
If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll see the pattern right away. Every good speech starts with a story almost immediately.
Then you know what? Then they need to create their own table.
She leans forward and almost whispers her point. And after making her point, she pauses and lets the message linger with the audience. So many people will rush right. I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking ability. I'm going to review Meghan Markle's public speaking abilities.
And this evening.
Okay, so that was it. That was it. I know it was very short and I wanted to share that with you, but there you have it. This was an impartial assessment of Meghan's ability as a public speaker, and he gave her high marks for it. Too bad it didn't have any sound. It was not as long as I thought it was. It was only a minute. But when did I do this? This was from October of 2023. But there you go. That was what I wanted to share. Now, let's get on with this. Strolling with the Sussexes. You know, as we were on the topic yesterday about the way that Kate decided to hijack Meghan's appearance at the Invictus Games, where she spent time, I believe that was with the families of the Ukrainian and, well, anyway, it was a mixture of people, but I know there were Ukrainian families as evident by the Ukrainian flag, and there was also British families, right? So that was the most recent thing. There's Meghan in 2022, and there's Kate in 2026. No matter how long it takes, she's got to hijack Meghan's style. And then take a look on the right side. Do you remember when the Sussexes were in Colombia and Kate was walking with the schoolgirl who this girl just declared herself Meghan's. Meghan had greeted the classroom, and this little girl was just stuck like glue. She was like, nope, I'm staying with you. And so she's walking with Meghan and Harry. Take a look on the right side. Take a look on the right side. She's done it again. At least she's not completely identical in her dress or, clothing. But they had a busload of kids. Even the uniforms are the same. Even the uniforms are the same. Yeah. Well, anyway, I have this for you. And don't worry, it's not going to take a month of Sundays to find it. This was very recent. All right. Did you guys love that? I did. You know, there is um, the fake replica, and then there's the real thing. And ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Nothing like the real thing. Um, that star quality that the Sussexes have, that's not something that you can just assume. You can't just buy it. They're superstars. They are real global influencers. This was a very successful royal tour, and I'm just going to call it that. It's a royal tour, but it's their version of a royal tour. They're royal, they're on tour. It was very little cost to the Colombian government. They actually had a number that I believe most people agreed with. The British tabloid media was shut out of it. They fought really hard to find people to say terrible things, but the pictures speak for themselves. This is real. This is genuine. This is an outpouring of affection for both the Sussexes and for the vice president. Is it any wonder why Kate and even William worked so hard to try to hijack the Sussexes' connections with people, to try to hijack their style? The simple answer is they do it because they have to, because they don't have anything else. They don't have anything else. They can only aspire. They can only try like hell to be more like the Sussexes. Otherwise, they don't have much. Let's see. One day we're going to talk about how, after being responsible for the attacks that pushed Meghan to the brink of self harm, Kate Middleton proceed to steal her entire persona. We will have to have that conversation. We should have that conversation. We're doing it right now. The Sussexes appeared at the invitation of the vice president. She wanted them to come a long time ago, but that was impossible. But a promise made is a promise kept, and Meghan and Harry did go, and the media was completely blindsided by this. They were completely blindsided. The tabloid media, the British tabloid media, that they had no clue that any of this was in the works. And if you recall, when Meghan was on that red carpet with Variety, and she said that there are so many things that are coming up in 2024. That this was actually the fall of 2023. She said there were so many things coming up. She said, I'm just not able to talk about it. I wish I could, but right now I can't. And well, all I have to say is they did not disappoint. In no way did they disappoint. It was phenomenal. It was everything that you could want it to be. And this was an article. These photos come from an article. I'm not going to share it. It basically says that before Harry and Meghan, there wasn't much of this or this or this. That's basically it. And here's another person that likes to copy other people's style. Elizabeth Holmes, Lizzie Holmes. She's kind of scary too. She actually frightens me more than Kate. She does. This shows dedication. And while some people might admire that dedication, I am frightened by it. I am. I am totally frightened. She scares me. She does too much. She's too extra with it. That takes devotion. She's dressed up like the queen. She's dressed up like Meghan, even Kate. And I do mean Queen Elizabeth, not the old tea bag. Kensington and Buckingham Palace post competing photos just hours apart. And I noticed something super striking. I mean, there you go. Tell me that they're not at war. Tell me that they're not at war, and I'll correct you. They are at war. It is a battle of will. It is a battle of wills. A will. They are getting up under each other's skin. Remember, William did not go to that documentary. What was the name of it? Finding Harmony or whatever. William didn't go. He refused to go. And Kate didn't go either. That was a big night for Papa. And neither one of them showed up. Once again, William decided to take the low road. The British royal family has stayed busy. Has had a busy start to the year. King Charles is promoting his new documentary, Finding Harmony, A King's Vision. Prince William spent time with a BBC youth initiative focusing on art and environmental awareness. And now father and son are welcoming Aga Khan to London, dropping competing photos within hours of each other. The most striking part, the photos are basically copies of one another, with the British royals simply swapping out. Kensington Palace released a photo of Prince of Wales standing next to Prince Raheem, the 50th Aga Khan. They wear coordinated navy suits and black shoes. They're even both sporting beards. A pleasure to welcome His Highness the Aga Khan to Kensington Palace this morning. Spiritual leader of Shia Nizari Ismaili Muslims. The caption read. Earlier in the day, King Charles shared a very similar photo of his own. Photo from their private dinner. A photo from their private dinner. The monarch sported a black tuxedo with bright red lapels. Aga Khan, standing next to His Majesty in Windsor Castle, opted for a bow tie. Each stood in the exact same position that William and Aga Khan would later mimic. The king hosted a private dinner for His Highness the Aga Khan at Windsor Castle last night to mark the first anniversary of His Highness's accession. The caption noted. Now, Honestly, I don't know what Aga Khan means. I'm sure it's some kind of title for his role, but I've never heard of it before. Prince Rahim succeeds his father, Prince Kareem Al Hassani, who passed away at the age of 88 in February of 2025. The Aga Khan is said to be a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad and funds philanthropic projects throughout Asia and Africa via the Aga Khan Development Network. Again, I never heard of him before, but I'm sure he's a nice guy. And it's just unfortunate that father and son decided to take their animosities against one another, to take their animosities and push it upon a guest of the country, a guest of His Royal Majesty, King Charles III. It's all so weird. They should have done this together. This should have been a joint endeavor. And if not, William should not have made an appearance. But he did. So next time you hear someone complaining about the Sussexes and their need to compete or a need to draw attention away from the rest of the left behind royals, just remember this Aga Khan situation. Very strange. Very, very strange. And won't anybody take William aside and say, listen, it is really bad taste to dwell upon your father's health, to almost will him into a grave, which is what he's doing. It's like he can't stop thinking about it. He can't stop talking about it. But for people who support Prince William, people who support Charles III, they have no problem with it. At least if they do, they're not verbalizing it, not publicly. This is not the way to start your reign, by wishing the worst or implying the worst would be the best thing that ever happened to you. And actively plotting against his father. You know, if we wake up one day and Charles has dissolved the monarchy for all of his descendants, oh boy, I would be happy. I would be happy if only to see that smug look on William's face permanently removed. Because without his ascension to the throne, he is nothing. He's nothing and a nobody. All he has in terms of talent is plotting against his father. I was going to say sitting around waiting to take the throne, but no, he's just plotting against his father. And it's what Charles deserves, because that's exactly what he did to both his sons and to his first wife. So he deserves it. And let me see. Yeah, we're just about in the home stretch, you guys. We are in the home stretch. Let me see. Russell Myers says Charles put William in his place in tense showdown over banishing Andrew. According to Russell Myers, Charles had to put him in his place. I'm glad to hear that. Prince William demanded his disgraced uncle, Andrew, be immediately banished from the royal fold. before the rot set in following revelations of the former Duke of York's close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. In the first part of the 4-day serialization of my book, William and Catherine, The Intimate Inside Story, it can be revealed how the Prince of Wales appealed to his father and Queen Elizabeth to take drastic action in the aftermath of Andrew's catastrophic BBC Newsnight interview, where he failed to apologize for associating with a convicted pervert or recognize the effect on the pervert's victims. Now, Charles was extremely jovial after that funeral, the one that they had for, oh gosh, I forget that lady's name, but she was a princess, the one that converted to Catholicism. Charles was very kind to Andrew, laughing with him, smiling at him. And William somewhat was okay with him. Not as much, not as animated, but somewhat. But then the next day, the tabloids, I believe this was at the request of Kensington Palace, began to push back hard on this idea that William was being polite and somewhat conversational with Andrew, which I believe he was. But they decided to capitalize on several videos that would say otherwise. But that's not the way it appeared to me. It seemed to me that William was okay with Andrew, and it appeared as though Kate kind of whispered something about the cameras, because then William began to try to pull away from his uncle. But if you ask me, oh, thank you, the Duchess of Kent's funeral. If you ask me, they seem to be okay with one another. It doesn't seem to have been any hard feelings. But it's what William decided to do to try to make himself seem decisive and tough, which Henry VIII, the squatty Henry VIII, I'll never forget she said that. She said, anytime a weak man wants to appear strong and decisive, they always speak about their anger and their incandescent with rage and hostility and such. Is how you make a small man bigger. Is how you make them seem more formidable, even though most people are not intimidated or afraid of them and know them to be very weak people. And so that is what William has been doing all these years, is that he would use his courtiers to leak certain things to the press, along with his emotional outrage, how he is angry and incandescent and he's furious. They can never just say that he didn't like it. They have to include something that sounds hostile. That way he can seem like a strong person. Now, I'm sure he's every bit the bully that they say he is. But the fact that they have to keep saying it and proving it by declaring it as often as possible means that William doesn't have much else going for him. That means he's in a very weak position. He does not have work to speak for him. He's lacking achievements, especially long-term achievements, as his brother has. Over 10 years of this and over 10 years of that. Not so much for William. William didn't find his voice until he was 40 years old. And the way he found it was he told his courtiers to find a voice for him. And so they started doing this earth flop. That was when he actually had something to believe in. Before that, he wasn't much interested in anything to do with royal duty. Thank you, Ingrid Soares. Prince William's pal resigns over Epstein torture video. Notice that they have declared him Prince William's pal. Yes, the Saudi billionaire, the one who was friends with Epstein, he actually resigned. DP World CEO resigns. Sultan bin Sulayem out after Epstein links emerges. So that is what happened. You know what they say, the Friday afternoon news dump. Well, if it's something that you don't want people to really pay attention to, you want to release that information on a Friday. It's never an accident when things like this is shared on a Friday. That way they can put it to rest, and by Monday, nobody's talking about it anymore. At least that's the hope. You know, I really should have put my humidifier on. My lips are so dry. I'm really suffering right now. You know, I agree with that, Hazel. I don't think he really cares about much of anything. William only wants attention, and he wants people to be beneath him that he can lord over and seem very important. I think he's more interested in trying to outdo his brother. Most of what William does has an audience of one, and that is Prince Harry. I do believe William is furious at Harry because Harry has his freedom and William does not. William was sure that Harry was going to be at his beck and call for the rest of his natural born life, and it just did not work out that way. So I am very certain that William is a very unhappy camper. You might even say he's just absolutely incandescent with rage because Harry has gone his own way. And he doesn't like it. Harry is happy and he doesn't like it. But yeah, there you go. I'm pretty sure that most of y'all haven't heard this yet, but that's what happened about 12 hours ago, maybe a little longer than that, is that he stepped down. Now, what does that really mean? Who knows? Because there's a lot of people that have stepped down from Kensington Palace, and yet they're always there. This man is worth about $7 billion. I don't think he goes anywhere if he doesn't want to. Okay? I don't think he does much of anything unless he wants to. He'll be all right. But this is all window dressing. This is not anything that is going to change the path that he's on, and it's not going to change anything for William. And with that, you guys, that was our last slide. I already shared this one with you. If you have any last comments, please throw them into the chat right now. As per usual, it has been a pleasure And happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you. And of course, I'll mention Valentine's again tomorrow. We'll do a little more information about it. I have an early day tomorrow. God only knows how I'm going to make it, but I will. I usually do. Thank you, T-Mac. And thank you, everyone, for your comments. That is one of the strengths of Royal Sussex, is that there are some very bright people in this group. And I can think of several occasions when I was trying to articulate something, and you guys gave me just the right words that I needed to say. And I really do appreciate that. I think one of the best things about Royal Sussex is you find out stuff that you don't know. It's not so much what we know, but it's what we learn from each other that makes this very special. And I, for one, truly value this space. Okay, I'm just looking at some of your comments. It's a very warm week coming up in Chicago. You know, it's only about 50 degrees today. If not warmer than that, it was about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And tomorrow is supposed to be sunny and 53 degrees. And get this, Monday, hold on to your wigs now. Monday, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I repeat, it is going to be 65 degrees Monday in Chicago in February. 65 degrees. You know, I usually set my thermostat at 74. $65 degrees. I can hardly believe it. Did anybody watch the Coretta Scott King video that I posted? Did anybody watch Coretta Scott King? I absolutely loved it. Oh my goodness, she was so good. She had an interview with Face the Nation, which is a political program that has been on for about 60 or 70 years. It's almost as old as television itself. Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on. Let's do the intro. I'm going to try not to look at it so I can get into character. Okay, one more. Uh-oh, where's the other one? Oh, there it is. I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of the United Kingdom, and U-Haul trucks backing and U-Haul trucks backing up to Buckingham Palace do hereby declare that I need movers to grab what I can is over. Queen out. Oh man. Well, thank you, Your Majesty. And thank you, Sean. It has been a long time. I'm so glad you're here tonight. But yeah, might as well get those trucks in place because they're going to need them. They are going to need them. You know, it'd be interesting if this is truly the end of the monarchy as we know it. That they will have more of a secondary role in the operations of government. I mean, as it is now, they don't do a whole lot. But Charles, with the access to the red boxes, they definitely do have an influence on policy and legislating. So it's going to be very interesting. But I do hope that this will trim their feathers. I want them to become a bunch of flightless birds. They can just strut around and peck at the ground or grubs or whatever they can find. But I don't think they need to yield as much power as they have right now. May they become figureheads. I mean, ultimate, complete, undoubtedly figureheads. "1992, a year that I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. Oh, I know. We'd have to party. We'd have to party. Did you guys hear this thing about, is it Norway or is it Sweden, where they said that in order to perpetuate the bloodline, that one of the royal princesses back in 1902 wanted to conceive a child, but her husband was not up to the task. And so she found someone else to ring her bell. And if that is the case, that every descendant thereafter is not really eligible to be on the throne, that they are not worthy. They are not of royal blood, I guess. In other words, Queen Elizabeth's mother, Cookie, is another Cookie situation. If you know, you know. So I don't know what to make of it. I mean, how would we ever know? You know what I mean? We won't. So someone wrote a book and they want the book to be a huge success. Yeah, and you know, imagine the Wednesday afternoon lunch or whatever, the meeting with the prime minister. The prime minister will get all the way over to Buckingham Palace or Clarence House, and then they'll find out that William is on vacation. I don't believe, and also Balmoral. Do you guys think that William is actually going to go to Balmoral Castle once a year? Is he going to go to Holyrood? I mean, I don't want to rush Charles to his, storm cellar, but I am curious to see exactly how much is going to go wrong when William gets on that throne. And I cannot wait to hear Kate's coronation speech.
You'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear her coronation speech. There's a high probability that she's going to ruin it. Let's see, Sweden, that royal house got kicked out, and what is it, Bernadotte was brought in. Oh, you mean to tell me that the royal households changed back in 1902 because of this peculiar immaculate conception? I wonder how you say that in Latin. Immaculate conception. How do you say immaculate conception in Latin? Oh, conceptio immaculata. Yes, a conceptual immaculata. Okay. You know what, guys? If you want to learn a second language, learn Latin. If you can learn Latin, then it'd be so easy for you to pick up Italian, right? And I think Latin is really easy. Plus, you'll be able to read a lot of things on buildings and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think we're done. Thank you all very much. And thank you, moderators, as per usual. Let's see, before 1902, probably 1802, Bernadotte was one of Napoleon's generals, field marshal. Okay. Well, I am going to have to look into that because it sounds so interesting. That face, that cover girl face, it glows and it shows. That cover girl face. You ought to be in pictures. You're beautiful to see. Yes. Extraordinary. How lovely. You know, I have a feeling that with all of this, at least I guess it's hopeful thinking, but maybe with all of this Epstein stuff, maybe the Sussexes will get a chance to breathe free without all of these constant attacks. Um, I know that the tabloids are driven by profits just as much as they're driven by hate. Um, but one could only hope that this will take some of the heat off the Sussexes. I would love for them just to have the freedom to be, to be happy, to be unencumbered by these negative, nasty articles day after day. Nobody deserves that. Um, it'd be so nice if they can just breathe free without um, having to worry that everything that they say or do is going to be turned into some plot or conspiracy. And there's still an active court case. Can't forget about that. There is an active court case going on. I think it's going to last, another 3 or 4 weeks? So, you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. You can come along and join us, and the world will be as one. Like brothers and sisters, we're gonna be as one, walking hand in hand. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Love you guys. I will see you all next time.